Hello students, I hope you all have gone through the first part of this chapter. So we'll move to the next part and we'll start further processes of separation. Next is sedimentation and decantation. What is this method? This method is based on the principle of different densities of the two components of a mixture. Solids which are insoluble in water and are heavier than other components of the mixture can be separated by sedimentation followed by decantation. Now, what do you understand by these definitions? Actually, the particles which are heavier and insoluble in water, such as we can say sand, if we wanted to separate it from water but not with the sieve, then this method is used. Loading increasing rate of sedimentation. This process of increasing the rate of sedimentation in a suspension by adding some chemical to it is called loading. This is somewhat same that adding a chemical so that that particular particle will settle down at the bottom. Next process is filtration. This is the very basic because this method of separation is held in every home. In every house, people used to separate various items through this method. It is the process of separating insoluble and suspended solids of various sizes from a liquid using a filter. Basically, filtration is used when one of that solution is a liquid and the other part that is insoluble in it can be used by the filter paper. If suppose we have mixed soil, but that soil is also in hard particles including some pebbles, and we just wanted to remove those pebbles from that water, soil water, so what we'll do, we'll take a container, put a filter paper over it, and then we pour that water into it. So what will happen, because of that filter paper, all the small tiny pebbles will remain on the top of that paper. This is the process of filtration. Example is also given: to separate water from a mixture, suspension of chalk and water. Chalk also does not dissolve in water, so through filtration process we can separate both of them. Size of the holes in the filter paper depends upon the size of the particles which are to be removed. So there are different types of filter paper, and in the holes also depend on the quantity or the amount or the quality of that particular liquid from which you wanted to separate. Next is separation of soluble solid from a mixture. Earlier in the previous slide we have studied separation of insoluble solid, the solids which are not soluble in a particular mixture, but now we will be studying those separation of solids which are soluble in water. Suppose salt and water, sugar and water, how we will separate this? Because we know that salt dissolves in water as well as sugar also dissolves in water. So for that separation, what should be done? So here's the process: evaporation and condensation. What is the evaporation process? This method is used to separate dissolved solids in liquids and is largely used to obtain common salt from seawater. This is the process through which salt is obtained from the seawater. Evaporation is the process of converting liquid into its vapor by heating it below the boiling point of the liquid. So actually what happens in this process, that below the boiling point, the liquid, that particular liquid, if we talk about salt and water, that water is heated below its boiling point so that that water converts into vapor, and that vapor is settled down on a certain surface placed above it. So in this way salt and water gets separated. Next process is condensation. This process is used to separate a liquid from a salt solution. If suppose any liquid is added in a salt solution, then it can be separated by the process of condensation. So this ends the chapter. I hope you all have understood and studied about various types of separation: soluble, insoluble, solid particles, miscible liquids, immiscible liquids. Please go through this video and try to understand. Thank you so much.